Hello there. Welcome to Lunch Break with Bill Wagner. I am your host here. Hopefully, these messages are resonating with you. I would like to apologize for not doing a video last week, but I was on vacation. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. I am glad to be here, excited about this topic. It is the biggest game changer in the industry. It is AI. And here's the driving point that I'm building up to. Smaller organizations, not the Mayo, not the John Hopkins, but smaller hospital systems, smaller doctors' offices can really bring out better clinical outcomes than any of the major players, so long as they stay a little smaller and a lot more nimble. Now, when you do that, you'll grow, but that's okay. But starting out small, being flexible and adjustable is the way to go. Now, I'm going to go into AI and I'm going to share a little bit of a personal story with you. And first off, though, AI in healthcare, people tend to think of AI as the Terminator, Skynet. They're going to just, the AI in healthcare is going to figure out how to wipe us all out because it sees us as a threat. And the fact is AI is not what the movies make it out to be. AI is more like what we saw in Star Trek as a essentially a collective database. So any of you took programming in the 90s, computer programming in the 90s, will remember this command statement. It's called if then. And we're going to go into a bit of how that works. But first, I want to go into this personal story because it has a lot of value. Um, I got really sick in January of 2020. Now, it was COVID. However, there were no COVID testing available. However, it triggered something in me. Essentially, I got sick where I was in pain. If you ever had a leg cramp, imagine having two leg cramps 24/7 nonstop. That's what I had. And I went to the urgent care. I went to, and they said, "Oh, you must have the flu." Well, I kind of did. I had COVID. I guess that's kind of sort of a virus. It is a virus. It's not the flu, but it's a virus. And that would explain all the pain. A month later, the pain still hadn't gone away. I had seen my primary care doctor. I had seen a ER doctor. I had seen a cardiologist. I had seen an oncologist. I had two surgeries performed, including a bone marrow biopsy, which hurts. And there was another surgery performed to do a biopsy on my veins, which confirmed finally what was going on with me. And after 3 months of testing, look at the timeline. January 15th to March 20th, that's how long it took them to figure out what was going on with me. And the condition is called micropolyangiitis. It's a form of vasculitis. And the thing is, the longer it goes, it damages your organs and it can kill you. So, all of this to figure this out was $200,000. The person who figured it out was oddly enough a psychiatrist who I went to because I could not get an answer to why I was in crippling pain, barely able to walk. They had worked in past in labs before they became a psychiatrist and looked at it and go, "This is an autoimmune disease," which is what vasculitis is. You need to see a rheumatologist. I know a rheumatologist. Look at you in tomorrow. Next day, I'm seeing a rheumatologist, and they're like, "Oh, yes, we're going to do this operation. I think it's this, but it could be this or this." And they did the operation. And that day, I started on a heavy dose of steroids. And then shortly after, to basically make the vasculitis go away, chemotherapy. I am still suffering long-term damage from that, that if it had been caught earlier, I would not be having to deal with. And the problem is this is immense cost to my insurance company. $200,000 worth of procedures, testing, CT scans, MRIs, all of that stuff. Not one single one of those tests, except for the biopsy of my veins and my nerves, actually helped reach a conclusion. So was this anybody's fault? Were the doctors sloppy? No, the doctors were great. They have medical training, but they're human beings. Their medical training is focused. And they had no idea that I had this very rare condition. They just didn't know. So AI, how would that have helped? We're going to get into that in a minute. But the fact is no doctor or group of doctors could ever know what was wrong with me. And they might have figured it out, but the fact is it's not that nobody knows about this condition. It's the fact that there are times and places when human beings or a group of human beings just can't know everything. Too much data, too much new articles. This is where AI comes in. It gathers all of that together, pulls it into one deliverable to help doctors. And we're going to go into that in a little bit about how the AI could have helped doctors by using the existing data that those doctors had. So let's go to our next slide here. Essentially, AI, like I said earlier, if then. So if then basically says if this data point is present in this range, then this must be the cause. However, it's a very complex algorithm. And let me go into how that is complex. This algorithm goes, if this, then it could be any of these 100 things. But if this plus this, that narrows it down to these 50 things. If this plus this plus this plus this, then it narrows it down to 2 or 3 things. It's not like it's alive. It's an algorithm that takes your data of what you're entering in and figures out all the possibilities. And the more data there is, the more likely it is to narrow down the possibilities. Looking at my blood test alone would have narrowed this down to a 90% chance it was an autoimmune condition, and would have said, you need to go see a rheumatologist. And the rheumatologist could have taken it from there, saving time, money, pain, and suffering. So it doesn't think outside the box like you and I do when we look at a very complicated situation or problem and then come up with this off the wall solution. It thinks outside the box of that individual doctor specialty, that ER specialty, that neurology specialty. It thinks outside of that and looks at all specialties. So essentially, this AI takes all available data that's loaded into it, journal articles, research, patient data, patient trends, treatment trends, new treatments, experimental treatments, everything conceivable that you can funnel into this AI as a holistic viewpoint. Then you start entering in patient data from across the spectrum. So this would have known that I had allergies, that I had severe sinusitis, that I had all the conditions saying, you've got a wonky immune system. And now you've gotten this illness that resembles the illness of COVID. And we're going to compare that to the research of COVID. And it might have figured out at that point that COVID triggers other conditions, but that was too early in the game. So we've said, okay, you probably have COVID, judging by your symptoms. We didn't do a COVID test. It would just look at the symptoms and go, you know what, this kind of sounds like this. And you're having this disease, and all the tests are pointing towards autoimmune. Here is where you need to go. It would have told the ER doctor that, hey, this individual should probably see this kind of doctor because, judging by the test, here's the possibility of issues. Or it might say, you need to run this test and this test to confirm the next if-then statements to narrow it down further. It's a helper. It's not going to take over being a doctor. It's going to guide doctors. And that's a major point. It guides doctors. It reduces the number of visits. It reduces the number of unnecessary tests. It looks at a patient's whole wealth or whole health, and says, here are problems that you could have. You need to see these kind of doctors to take care of these kind of problems. And that is incredible. That alone reduces the need for a number of specialists to get involved, reduces the burden on the healthcare system, and reduces the burden on the patient. Everybody wins. Because right now, if you go into an ER, they're overwhelmed. But with these systems, you don't need to go into the ER. You could call an ER and say, listen, I'm suffering from these symptoms. And they'll say, you know what? I know you don't know where to go, but judging by the symptoms, go get these tests. Or call their primary care doctor, or call somebody who's a medical professional, and they'll get you started on the test. And then from those tests, they'll narrow down what the problem is and get you where you need to go much faster than if you're dealing with multiple specialties. And we know doctors don't talk to each other because they don't have the time. This provides that communication without actual talking going on. No egos, no frustration, just simple breakdown of the issue and finding a solution. And that's why AI is so important. It is a fundamental game changer. And the sooner it's adapted, the sooner clinical outcomes get better, sooner disparities in health go down, because a computer does not discriminate. It does not have bias. It does not have anything along those lines. It's simply taking data points, analyzing them, and coming up with possibilities. So it seems intelligent, but it's really just an algorithm like you have on Amazon or Netflix. So thank you for joining me today on this wonderful discussion of AI. And we are getting there. We are almost to the little guy is going to be king in healthcare. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again.